With Black Friday right around the corner, King Z and Winterwolf are going to take a peek at Thanksgiving because it involved Black Friday. Doing it now. Hey guys, welcome back to Winterwolf's Den. Winterwolf here, King Z in the other seat. We're taking a brief hiatus from our salute to Fantasy Movie Month because whenever a new horror movie comes out, we're definitely going to check it out, especially when it hits theaters, especially if it's got a rated R situation behind it, and especially if it's Eli Roth. This one came out of kind of nowhere for me. I think it was a couple months ago, we started seeing some trailers, and it looked hokey and gimmicky as all hell. I think I first caught a look at this, I want to say as far back as Gran Turismo. So probably late August, early September. I think I saw a trailer for this. But King Z, did you know there was actually a much older trailer for this, like 16 years ago?
Actually, I did. Hey, everybody. I'm back, and thank you so much. Yeah, we wanted to take a little time out to actually review this movie. But before we get started, and you want to hear more of our reviews, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, and give us a thumbs up if you like what we're saying, because it surely does help us in the algorithm.
Now tell us about that trailer.
So, this movie was based off of a short that was shot in 2007 that was a fake trailer in a movie called Grindhouse.
Love it. Saw it in theaters. I love Planet Terror. What was the other half of that? It was Planet Terror. Oh, Death Machine.
Yep.
Death Machine, Kurt Russell. Too. Loved them both. I thought they were both really fun. That was a Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino mashup, right, for both of those?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, it's a good. We're digging in the way back machine for us right now. But I love the fact that 16 years later, this became a thing. You know what I mean? Because its premise is Saturday Night Live, skit worthy. It's got the potential to be rando slasher film that like two dudes like smoking weed in the basement would just come up with that idea that they kind of put forth in the movie. But like when you put it in the hands of professionals that take it seriously, we get this. We get Thanksgiving, in my opinion. So, how do you want to handle this going forward? I know we were changing the format. What did we say we were doing? We're doing expectations right now. Is that what we're going to do?
That's right. What we went into.
Give me yours first.
So, after seeing the trailer, I didn't learn about this movie was coming out until my wife told me about a stupid trailer she saw at one of her movies. So, I went and checked it out, and I was like, I like the one of the main guys that's in it. He plays Lewis Litt in Suits. I saw that I was going to be a pilgrim-ish, killing people. So I was like, you know what? And then one of the trailers, it was different in the movie, but I thought she got deep fried, but that was not what happened. So I was kind of interested in seeing where they're going to go with this and where we're actually going to rank this killer amongst all the slashers out there. But
dude. No, expectations for me exceedingly low going in because it checked every hokey box I think these kind of movies can check, and the only reason I was willing to plunk down real dollars and see this in theater is the Eli Roth connection, because I like some of his old stuff. I like I was saying, I like Hostel, the first one. I didn't really like the second one. I really liked Cabin Fever, which I thought was great. The original, none of the sequels, not the crappy remake. Like, if you still can't hear the sound of that girl shaving her legs at that halfway point, cringe. It's almost as bad as Teeth on the Curve American History X, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, there's some horror bits just stick with you. That one stuck with it for me. Back then, Eli Roth laid it on kind of thick with some of the comedic elements, with like the kung fu fighting kid at the one part, and some of the character work was kind of bizarre. So I was expecting a lot more of that. And it wasn't that, per se. It wasn't really that. I think what we actually got out of it, and we're gonna break it all down like we do, was a serious, grounded, took itself seriously at most turns while having some levity kind of horror flick.
Yep.
A la Shaun of the Dead, maybe not as funny consistently throughout, because I think this movie went from, it opened with a lot of satire and comedy, and then just went into like straight slasher mode, and then gave up on the comedy. Like down the stretch, it was supposed to be taken seriously. So kind of like Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead, but horror movie after about the first 20-25 minutes.
We are talking about the movie Thanksgiving that was released last Thursday. So this was its first weekend out. So it has a runtime, according to IMDb, 1 hour and 46 minutes. According
Tight.
to my movie pass, because I use my movie pass to go see this, it was 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I'm guessing they might have been counting in like previews and credits and everything.
Dude, 227 sounds like they counted your drive on the way over, when you stopped to get a soda, when you stopped to use the bathroom, because there's no way this was 2 hours long.
It was
Not a chance.
It was directed by Eli Roth, who's known for Hostel, Cabin Fever, as you mentioned. He's also the Death Wish remake. He was the director of that.
Yep.
It was written by Eli Roth and a guy named Jeff Randall, who wrote Thanksgiving, the short we talked about earlier, Thanksgiving, in 2007, and also Grindhouse. That's all he's known for.
Well,
those are his 3 writing credits.
Go.
It has a budget of $15 million, and so far at the box office, it's brought in 13.9. So it should make its budget back.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yep, it absolutely should. And once again, it's the position of the channel that says, in an era where other mega billion-dollar blockbusters are failing left, right, and center, they're just gonna make a horror flick, guys. Like, a moderate amount of effort can yield returns.
Still best
it's
ROI in the industry is horror.
That's what I'm talking about. It's not complicated. The current record holder is probably still the Blair Witch Project. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably right up there.
Which, I mean, this one, you could definitely tell was a much bigger budget. But before we get into our review, why don't you give them a breakdown of it, Winter Wolf?
Yeah, let me give you guys a synopsis. It like I said in kind of the expectations, it's a fairly straightforward flick. We got a bunch of high school kids that kind of gain some access to a Black Friday sale at a store one of their parents owns, in a great satirical takedown of Black Friday culture. Yeah, look, Kingsley's taking off. He's like, I'm out. A riot happens. People get killed. It's all very awful. Some of the characters we're introduced to early on are snuffed almost instantly. And then the movie jumps a year forward, where we now deal with the aftermath of someone who took that massacre a little personally and starts bumping off the people that they, because I'm not saying that as a non-pronouncing kind of way, I don't want to ruin anything up front, that they hold responsible for instigating the killings that happened. And then it becomes procedural at that point, but that's kind of the synopsis. We follow the daughter of the store owner, her boyfriend / ex-boyfriend, her little circle of friends. They're not particularly cardboard cutouts. I think most of them are fairly likable teens, except the one dickhead, but you need the one dickhead to kind of run that group conflict. But like I said, there's not a lot to analyze synopsis-wise here. It is a tried and true, a very, very much so a slasher film with that Thanksgiving theme, because it takes place in Plymouth, Massachusetts, which is hilarious for me because I'm from around this area. So it was nice to hear that dialect. It was nice to see some of the trash that I've absolutely seen shopping out here in this movie, just behaving exactly like you'd expect they would. Tell me you didn't get a kick out of that.
Well,
you lived here, you know.
Used to living up there. I was like, yeah, that's nice.
Yep. Fact, because it is. That's just how people get up here at Black Friday. It's embarrassing. It shouldn't be the case. And they played, especially in that opening segment, they played so many of the cliches and tropes of that so well, with like the one rando customer like dying over a waffle maker. Like, that's a joke. Like, that's a thing. That's like the stereotype that like you're gonna go out and die over a fucking waffle maker. And they put that in the movie. Like, it was too funny. I'll say this right up front before we just get into any of your analysis. I thought the first 10 minutes of this movie were brilliant. I'll put that up for whatever I got to say about the rest of the movie. Everything that happened, was it Price Mart? No, Price Mart was that 70s show. Right? Was it Price Mart?
I think it was Price Smart as well.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking the 70s show with Bob and Donna Pinciotti. Yeah, whatever it was, a fake Walmart. Like, the Black Friday massacre at that effing store was hilarious, start to finish. I loved every minute of that.
Yeah, so that was the opening inciting event that started everything.
Yep. And they got a lot done in that segment. You introduced like 12 characters who all have roles going forward.
Yeah.
Right? That's the inciting incident, like you said, the massacre. They lay the seeds for one of my favorite parts of it is that like they introduce so many characters that you think could have a motivation for being the killer. And it's all in service of throwing guys like us off the trail of making predictions of who it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's why they did that, you know? But sorry for you guys. I had that shit pegged in like 15 minutes. I'm throwing that out there right now. This is usually King's East Corner. I nailed this.
So, going forward, we're going to let you know that we will be spoiling this movie. So here's the spoiler alert
Banners,
right here.
Banners. Here we go. Yep, there we go.
So if you don't want to have it spoiled, stop the video right now. Go watch the movie if you want to, and then come back and hear our thoughts on it. With that said, you have been warned. We're moving forward.
Okay. So moving forward, you didn't figure this one out, really? This one threw you?
I did. Not at the very beginning. I figured out who the killer was roughly about halfway through.
At the high school scene?
I think so. There was one event where I was just like, yeah, that's where it's going to go.
What was the? We're doing spoilers, dude. So I mean, guys, it's a slasher flick, so we're not doing a scene by scene like we do for our shows, like The Mandalorian or Andor or whatever. What scene are you talking about?
Let's see. Now, I'm trying to remember because it was last night that we watched it.
Yeah.
Where did I pick him up at? I mean, at the very beginning, I knew there was something more between him and the female, why he reacted when he saw the death.
Now, see, I didn't pick that up.
See, I picked it up when they were at dinner. Like at the very beginning.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't pick up that part. I thought that it was legit just above the board. He was friends with the husband. I didn't pick up that. And then at the end, when that big reveal came through, I was like, this seems extra convoluted and wasn't done well enough for me. So I didn't get that. I just went more categorically through the who could it be out of the remaining options through like the 15 minutes. And I was like, who would physically be capable of doing some of these things?
Well, I knew it wasn't going to be the husband. They had him interviewed right at the beginning, and you're not
too easy.
Soon you got into Act 2,
too easy.
You knew it wasn't going to be him because they interviewed him right up front.
Yep.
You knew it wasn't.
And he was way too over the top with the fuck Price Mart, they killed my family, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Too easy choice. I would say the same thing about the kid whose arm was broken. The boyfriend at the beginning of the movie, the main character.
That was kind of
too
gruesome.
Easy.
Like that
was nasty.
That hit me as a former baseball player. That hit me right there.
Career ender. Tommy John ain't putting that back together. That's not how that works. And he's like, later on, he's like, I'm rehabbing it. I might get back to 100%. I'm like, bro, you took a year off and every bone in your arm is broken.
Based on where it broke, you could repair that where you could pitch again.
Yeah, maybe, but it's still gruesome. So now you took a year off. You're probably done.
Because the ligaments,
if there's some nerve damage in there, though, forget it.
Yeah, gripping the ball might be a little difficult.
Dude, he's a pitcher. That's your job, you know. But we ruled those two guys out quick.
Oh yeah.
You know, the two girls, 100 pounds each.
Yeah, definitely not
chance.
Them. I was leaning between that the security guard who got crushed actually survived.
Okay, yep.
I thought it might have been him. Yep. And then I also thought it might have. I had the police officer in there as another one because he was in every scene, and based on who
the sheriff or the sheriff or the new guy. Oh, the sheriff. Okay. Right. So McDreamy's playing him. He's got profile. Yeah. Right.
So the big name of the actor is Patrick Dempsey. The other big actor of this, she was killed at the very beginning. Gina
Gershon.
She was killed at the beginning. So they stuck to these. They stuck to the Scream format of killing off a big name star at the very beginning.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even if you look at the teen group, you could tie it to Scream. Look at the two couples. Yep. It was like three couples right there.
The outsider, the new guy, the a-hole.
Yep.
And you know what else? I like the Scream. Let me real quick. The thing you said about Scream. Another thing they did just like Scream is these kids were all semi-dicks to each other, but they were a friend group.
Yeah.
They weren't instantly antagonistic to each other, turn on each other, killer within the midst. Like all they said over and over, even as they lost a member here and there, was, "We got to stick together. We got to stick together. We got to stick together." Yeah. You know what I mean? So I thought that was a variation from some of the shittier movies that we get in the genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, yeah, I picked it out about halfway through because I eliminated the security guard when they definitely said that he was dead. Yeah. Other than that, I really didn't know who else it could be. I thought it might have been a family member that wasn't introduced.
Yep, I thought that too.
Especially with how much they showed the guy dying with the waffle iron who got cut in the throat at the beginning.
Yeah.
So
in a
I
Bruins
thought,
jersey. It was awesome.
yeah. So, yeah, but I pretty much figured it out.
I had it pegged, and we already gave you the spoiler warning enough analysis. So the killer is the sheriff. It's Patrick Dempsey's character, who went psycho apparently because Gina Gershon was his girlfriend. It was his girlfriend who was married to his best friend, and at the end they say she was going to leave him, and she was pregnant with my baby and this and that. Mm-hmm. So he went crazy and wanted revenge on everybody that caused the events leading to her death. The reason I started second guessing my pick halfway through was the high school scene, right? Where lead character, was it Jess? I think Jess was the lead, and her friend, the other girl's name was Gabby.
Yeah.
And then there was Yulia. And Yulia's already out of the equation. I think by that point she had already got on the table.
She was breaking home at that time. That's when her father showed up.
She was ready to bail. That's right. So and they're all the rest of this group is at the high school. And the two of these dipshits disappear so one of them can get change out of his football gear because the game was canceled, because the school's starting to flirt with some Jaws stuff where they're shutting everything down, because there's a killer on the loose, this and that. She's talking to the sheriff in this scene. He's present with the investigative team outside the school by the truck. She has a scene where she's inside the school waiting for her friends to come back to her from deeper in the school. And when she hears the sound and gets the message, hey, can you meet us over here? And it's bad news. It's the killer having stolen one of their phones to kind of trick her into coming over. She looks out the fucking door, and the sheriff's still standing by the truck talking to one of her.
That was the sheriff. That was
that the deputy?
That was the deputy.
Oh, dude, see, I gotta get my eyes checked, dude. I thought that was the sheriff, and I'm like, dude, if he's there, he can't be here, dude. If I had actually seen that, forget it. This would have been a non-starter.
Yeah, that was the deputy that was standing out there.
Yeah. Okay.
But I was thinking the same thing. I thought, the sheriff was actually out there because they kept showing like the cops out there.
That's what I'm saying. Like he can't be in two places.
But it was like a female deputy, and then the new deputy.
See, for me, at the distance they were at, it was like some My Cousin Vinny shit. It was out the door, through the glass. There was a couple of fucking bushes. There were leaves on the trees. The screen was dirty, all that shit.
And I had to take a drink from my pop.
You know what I'm saying? And like the new deputy and Dempsey are about the same height. They're both white guys in their 40s, or 50s, whatever. Like they both got the salt and pepper gray thing going. I'm like, we all look alike. We all know this. So they almost had me for a loop there. But I'll tell you, what sealed it for me was the kill on the fat guy security guard that bailed from the beginning. Like he caught him with the garroting wire and just fucking took his head off. And I'm like, you have to, this isn't Scream 6. They're not going to let a 100-pound girl do the massive upper body strength, because this was still some bullshit. Same thing with the neck break. That's some Jason Voorhees level of power. Yeah. Okay, like I'm not buying this bullshit. It was gruesome because it's Eli fucking Roth. That's what's gonna happen. But there was no way they were gonna let a girl do that. Like the power isn't. It's not. This wasn't a supernatural, killer infused spirit of vengeance kind of flick. But that decapitation was nasty.
All right. Well, talk about the decapitation. What was your favorite kill in the movie? Most creative.
That the table saw is nasty. I don't want to take them all. Like for me, it had to be probably the either the table saw or the white trash waitress that gets it at the dumpster. That shit's just too funny. Whenever somebody gets cut in half, it's funny. It happened in Five Nights at Freddy's, and I thought that was awesome. So maybe the dumpster one, but probably the table saw thing that I mentioned, because that was just gnarly as fuck. And it was played so serious, like the poor kid's like pulling her back from the table. He goes down and he's like, Jess, what do I do? Jess, what do I do? He's playing it for 1,000% seriousness.
Yeah.
1,000%. I'm like, oh my God, what do you do? What you should have done was taken the fucking safety off. You had this guy dead to rights. You should have shot him. You should have taken your chances. But the safety was on.
Yeah.
Just saying. What was your favorite? Because I gave you a few that I didn't mention that are gnarly as hell.
So my favorite one, because I thought it was the most creative out of all of them, was the trampoline.
Yep.
I thought that
Achilles-itis.
Yes, it was stuck up through there, cut her foot, and then she came down on the knife, and then let her bounce down the trampoline at She Killer.
It was pretty savage.
Yeah, I thought that was the best one.
The cooked alive is rough.
Yeah, that one was pretty rough. But that also should have tipped you off that it was 100% the sheriff because he baked the pie himself. And he's like, ooh, guy who can cook?
I know my way around an oven.
Yep.
Was the exact line. I forgot about that line. Yep, that would have been a non. That would have been a go for me. Yep, the kill. You know what? Not as gory as I thought it was gonna be for Eli Roth. Maybe not gory, but not as bloody. I was expecting more red sauce on the screen, kind of sprayed everywhere. Do you think this? You thought there was sufficient red? Yeah.
I thought it was cheesy as hell. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was.
There we go.
I got up from the movie, and I looked at the couple that was sitting next to me. There was an older couple sitting next to me. I went by myself, and I looked at them. I'm like, well, there's 2 hours I won't get back, and then stood up and walked.
So this falls in the did not like camp, dude. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
I thought this movie was completely horrible. One of my notes right here is that WGA should revoke their writer's card.
Oh, good Lord. That's about the most savage criticism I think I've ever heard you level at a project.
Oh, I was so disappointed in it. Like, my expectations were not met at all.
What did this not do for you?
I thought that the dialogue was 100% lazy.
Yeah. Everything, it was a little on the weak side. I'll give you that.
The whole pushing the plot forward was weak. Now, I would say when you get closer to the end, it gets a little bit more back on the rails. But it was like everything they needed was right there, always at their hands. Never introduced before, but oh no, we got it. Especially like the backup cam. Like, they deleted all the footage. It just disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden they got a backup. Oh no, where'd that come from?
I'll give you that.
I'm like, come on, really?
Dude, it's a slasher flick. It's not the usual suspects.
I wasn't thinking Usual Suspects. I went in for a good
serious
horror
drama.
movie. I was cool with, like, if it was going to be some gory, because, I mean, that's kind of what we go with horror now, but I was expecting at least something that would resemble something. I was just completely disappointed in this.
I am shocked, dude. That's going to change the tone for the rest of the review, I think, because I had a bunch of stuff, honestly, that I thought worked really well. Like, again, the pacing was perfect for me, coming in at like an hour 40. I wouldn't want, and that might have been 10 minutes too long, honestly. But I don't know where else. Like, if you could have trimmed time from this, assuming you liked the movie, what would you have trimmed down? I felt like they moved it all forward, like you said, and it was kind of easy.
I think the opening scene could have been, the whole inciting incident could have been cut a lot. Especially like the scene in the car where they just start yelling, like just being stupid teenagers. I mean, you needed that to establish stupid teenagers.
Yeah.
But I mean, no one addressed that the statutory rape that's going on with her boyfriend, who's in college, and she's still a sophomore in high school. Because they made a comment like, you still got one more year before college, a year later after the event. So. Yeah.
I think that they might have glossed over that and thinking they made this movie in like 2000 possibly.
It was.
Yeah, I could see that. And I hated that guy. And but see, this is what I mean. I think there was enough enjoyable stuff of trying to figure it all out that took over any of the lacking dialogue or some of the weaker performances. Like the one kid, Evan, that gets his brain. Oh, that was good when the brain smash. I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good kill.
The one dickhead kid in the group is the only one that dies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I'm like, that's okay. That's unique.
And the girl, Yanya.
Oh, Yulia died. Yes,
Yulia.
That's right. She got corn cobbed and then table sawed. Right.
Yeah.
So she was the only innocent victim.
That was the other thing. I'm like, if you get corn cob, it won't go deep enough to rupture your eardrums. It will affect
but they played
your
on that sound cue though, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
They played on that sound cue. They did. Yeah. Fuck Evan. He got his brain mashed with a meat tenderized. So that was pretty savage. But yeah, so his a-holeness aside, I think they did enough stuff that I did like trying to sort the mystery. Like I said, I enjoyed the satire with Black Friday, but I also, maybe you liked this, maybe you didn't. I enjoyed the social media obsession that they put on display here, where the inciting incident proliferates itself because Evan the dickhead records everything that happens, puts it on fake YouTube talk or whatever they have in the movie. And then a year later, the city's still dealing with people sharing this video and reliving all of that insanity and how it's all played up for clout. Because then it comes back at the end and that's how she undoes the killer. Like she's hiding a live stream as he's confessing his fucking villain monologue.
Yeah, I think that was like Periscope. Like the look of it was Periscope, which was bought by IG, which is now like IG Talk.
Yeah.
The other part that got me was, of course, the IT part of it, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, that isn't how that works at all.
What do you mean IT?
Where he's like, it looks like he's taking the pictures at one place and uploading them somewhere else.
Yeah.
What? Like, that made zero sense.
Yeah. It definitely, the tech side, the procedural side was not a strong point. I'm not going to tell you that.
That dude was so over the top. The detective dude.
Yeah.
Like, you met our detective? Yeah, we met.
Like, yeah, dude, not perfect. Also, when they were trying to do the search later on, and like the cops all converge on that one part, and they're looking at us, there's nothing here, we're outside. I'm like, there's fucking 15 mill buildings in a circle around you. Like, maybe fan out and execute the search. You know what I mean? And that was after they said they searched that area top to bottom. So there was enough dumb shit in there that, like, for certain. But I think because they made an honest attempt, I think, to take it all seriously, it didn't bother me as much as I thought it might.
And see, that's the part, like, if they had the comedy part of it, like, you could tell that it was comedy.
Yeah.
It would have been a much better film on it.
Like, if it was more like Shaun of the Dead through and through.
Based on what you saw and, like, how they were killing people, because it would have been better. But they tried to make it a serious slasher film. And girl who had one of two faces, the main girl, Jessica.
Yeah, no, not good. Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not strong.
And then, like, you had this whole side plot with, like, the side perfect boyfriend now, but it went exactly nowhere. I'm like, so we could have cut time there. We could have cut him completely out of the story, and we would have got to exactly the same point.
No, you needed him as a red herring, that he was the jealous one, or he wanted revenge on somebody else. Dude, they were all there to play that part. All the extra dudes they brought in, the deputy, the perfect boyfriend, the manager, who's the other, the gun kid. Let's talk about the gun kid.
Dude, I loved him. I loved him.
Dude, loved him. Loved the character. Yeah. But how much of this movie did they cut of him out because they meet him and they're joking on him? But then they go to him and he just gives them a gun for free. And then at the end of the movie for the confrontation, he gives the main character his dad's ring from Iraq that has a hidden blade. I'm like, are you an ex? Did you have a crush on her? Did you bang her sister?
Yeah, there's like no reason why he's there.
No connected.
So they cut too much
why
of
you're tight.
Yeah, they cut too much of him out, and they kept too much of the perfect boyfriend in. Because there was no way he was the killer, because why would he be killing other people? Because the person who he really wanted to hurt had his arm completely mangled, which is the current boyfriend.
Oh, so you're talking about perfect boyfriend, not McCarty.
Yeah, so he had no point in this whatsoever.
I think that he was trying to integrate and remove people around him because he's a psycho and wants her all to himself.
Then why kill the waitress first?
She was fucking obnoxious and needed to die.
She did.
She was hilarious.
I was rooting for the killer in this because most of those people at that Black Friday needed to die.
Oh, dude, all of them. Dude, once Gina Gershon died in that scene, I'm like, fuck them. All of them. Done. See ya. Don't matter.
But I mean, if you didn't see that coming watching it, as soon as they they said lock the doors, I'm like, the door's gonna break. It's gonna come in. I'm like, we've seen this before.
Dude, so the scene where the waitress, after she gets her face in this, she gets almost drowned and then pressed against the freezer door, and we get
that was pretty cool. I did like that.
That was awesome. She couldn't use her phone because it didn't do the facial recognition.
And her blood, it was too bloody for her to swipe.
You could just use your sleeve.
That I can
did you see? Did you see the room she ran into though?
It was like the storage room, right?
No, the sign on the door said manager's office, but it was a storage room. Like, there's no fucking phone in here. Really? I was like, dude, because when she came out, dude, I sat forward in my seat because I was waiting for the door to close on screen, because I saw the placard on the way in, because I thought it said storage, because you see the wire rack in the side of the door.
Which, I mean, some of those type of stores or restaurants do have wire racks inside the manager's office.
Over the manager's room doubles.
They would have
the manager's office. There's a phone and a computer.
Fact. Email. There's like
anything.
You could Get onto Google Voice real quick.
Dude, Sidney Prescott used the internet and AOL to call the cops on Scream 1 in 1997. Fact. Like, that happened. So I thought that was a funny thing that, like, it closed. And I was like, that's not.
And then her kill. There's no way that car cut her in half with her halfway out of a dumpster. There is no physical
Did the car
way.
cut her in half? It was the lid slamming shut the cutter in half.
Have you ever had one of those fall on you? It did not cut my arm off.
Dude, because I'm not an asshole. I don't have anybody trying to fucking kill me over a flat panel TV a year later.
But no, I mean, I've had one of those things fall on my arm. It's not cutting my arm off.
Well, no, of course not, but you also didn't take the other half of the body, get a crane, get a winch, get a cherry picker bucket, get it all the way up to the second floor, and then drop it casually on the A in Price Mart to look like fucking it was impaled. You didn't do that either. You know what I mean?
I did like the half off
part. Because it's an Eli Roth movie. See, that's what I'm talking about.
That would have been funny if they played it more of a comedy than they did an actual horror movie.
Interesting. I would have thought you would have went the whole other way. Oh, dude, it was definitely dark. I thought for sure it was. How do you figure it wasn't?
No,
dark?
they tried being a serious horror movie slasher movie, and they.
Yeah.
They completely failed
definitely not
that.
dark comedy.
If they made it a dark comedy, it would have been so much better. Like American Psycho. American Psycho knew it was going to be a dark comedy movie based on how they wrote everything. This just in. Breaking news coming out of Lucasfilms. Winter Wolf, I got some brand new scoop for you. Listen to this. David Filoni announced as new Chief of Creative of Lucasfilms. Thoughts?
The shroud of the dark side has fallen.
Them's is my thoughts, dude. It's no surprise, honestly. I think this day has probably been coming for a hot minute. Jon Favreau has looked largely checked out of everything over there at Lucasfilms, and that's probably why Mando Season 3 bombed the way it bombed. Like, Filoni was probably the only thing they had left to tap in the tank there. And if Ahsoka is any indication of how he can handle live action, I think the franchise continues to suffer. I don't see them pulling any magic out of any hat with him at the helm. He is not George Lucas. He is not the heir apparent. He's a one-trick pony that came up with a good character in animation 15 years ago. But, like, what has he done? Like, and I get people want to christen him the king that once was, or whatever, the returning king, the once and future king. That was the thing.
Yep.
But he's not that. He's just not that. What do you think of this?
Well, I think that Star Wars does need a new direction. What they have in place is not working. Maybe a fresh take from new eyes who actually has more say in what's being made might help. But if, like you said, if Ahsoka's any sign of what's to come, what do you think is going to be the impact on the 3 movies that were announced?
I'd say that's a great question, because I think before, my official stance on that is that these things were probably not going to happen on account of money. Like, they can't keep taking the losses that they hit. That the stocks have only recently recovered from, like, historic lows. Viewership on Disney Plus is trash internationally. They've taken a bath at the box office on anything they've tried to do. Him being there gives them a little extra push, I think, for getting his movie done, for getting the Filoni-verse tie, Ahsoka, Kenobi, and the other garbage, the Boba Fett together. But those other 2 things, like the Mangold movie and the Rey movie, he's not vested in any of those. I don't think those will happen. I don't think they have the money to do that kind of crap. And I have to disagree with your take. I think fresh eyes would be good, but he's not that. He's been there. Like, he's part of the problem. He's institutional. It'd be like putting not Pedro Pascal, the other guy, the guy in the story group. Can't remember his name at this point. The guy that insulted Gina Carano back when that was happening, and he insulted Star Wars Theory, the channel, mocked him for getting emotional when Luke Skywalker showed up in Mando Season 2. That piece of shit. Like, they're all part of the system. He's not fresh eyes to me.
Do you believe the writing's on the wall for Kathleen Kennedy's exit, or is this just
not a chance?
This is running more of a partnership.
All this did was put Filoni at the 2 spot. She's still the president of Lucasfilms. She's ironclad until she wants to go. Dude, where else in the world can you fail upward like Hollywood? How many other hundreds of millions of dollar losses could you post at a job as an executive and still hold on because you were the coffee chick for Indiana Jones 40 years ago? Like, what have you done without Spielberg and without Lucas? Not a damn thing. You've lost money with everything you've touched. You spent all that money on Star Wars and made what back? Nothing. Not a damn thing.
All right.
Fuck Lucas moves.
Well, that's our breaking news of David Filoni. Once again, is the new chief officer of Lucasfilms of Creative. Now, back to our regularly scheduled review.
Yeah. No, that's probably an apt comparison for sure. Definitely, I think that's a solid comparison there. I think for me, especially, I think maybe it was this. Maybe it was the setup of the movie was so effective for me that I was just able to ride it through till the end of it. Because there was that one part after Dempsey's looking at dead girlfriend on the floor of Price Mart, like where the screen fades out to black and it's blacked out for like 4 seconds. Like I said out loud in the theater 1 year later, and fucking the title comes up on the screen and people laugh. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, come on, that was a dead giveaway. It was going to be a year later, obviously.
Because it has to
like no one was going to. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. It's the I know what you did last summer thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it had to be a year later. So I thought there was that. There was also I thought there were a couple of cleverly written bits, especially when new boyfriend and ex-boyfriend collide in front of the sheriff's department for the first time. The ex-boyfriend who ghosted Jess a year earlier looks at like the John Carver statue and he's like, that's new. And the subtext there is he's talking about the guy, the boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then McDreamy comes out and he goes, yeah, things aren't the same as they were last year. I'm like, yeah, we're clearly, it's a little on the nose, but at least they made some attempt at saying some shit like that to reference the dynamic between the people.
Yeah,
I thought that was okay.
There was another good part with that, like where the old boyfriend comes up after the attack at the school and puts his coat around her and like was talking to her, and then the new boyfriend comes up, he knocks it off.
Oh, awesome! I thought that was pretty good.
That was a good small detail that they paid attention to.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty solid there. I think if I had any gripes about the movie, like I said, there were some issues, I think, with stuff with the McCarty character, the gun, I just call him Gun Guy. He was funny. I liked him there, but it didn't make sense how he plugged in, especially as his role got more important later. Like there's a complete 180 turnaround between how they interact where he tries to sell them booze from his truck early.
And get tickets to his party, which has zero impact on the story.
Right. They went there to buy a gun from him, and he gave them one. I'd be like, okay, that $9 mil is going to cost you $1,000, Cochise. Where's my money? Yeah. You know what I mean? But he's like, no, take it. Good luck. Stay safe out there. And then later, like he's featuring in the parade, and I have a gripe about the parade. He's at the parade and he's involved. And then when they try to set the final trap is when he gives her the ring that she uses to cut the bonds free and shit. Like, and that kind of scene leads into both of my kind of quips with the end of the movie. The only things I would take away, because I had a pretty good time with it. The parade bit where the killer is now in like the creepy clown outfit and decapitates one of the other
turkey
Black Friday shoppers. He decapitates the turkey who was the kid that was in the costume, was prominently featured in the riot. He was stealing he stole the waffle iron from the Bruins fan that had his neck cut and then beat him with it and then made his escape. But he mean mugged the camera so they knew it was him. So the sheriff in full uniform had time to get the clown outfit on, throw some smoke grenades into the crowd, decapitate this dude with an axe, lose the costume. Nobody sees him. His radio's not going off. Like, he's not calling in.
Oh no!
There's thousands of people doing all this shit.
Yeah, because he also
like shit like that in my horror movies.
He also threw the flashbang. By the way, that would have been so much bigger, and they wouldn't have been able to hear anything.
Dude, it would have blown the fucking glass out of the truck.
Yeah, and then
but they're all just like,
he trains all of them, then hops in and drives off with them.
Right. And I'm like, okay. I mean, see if there's a drawback for me, it's shit like that. I'm like, if somebody had sat down and kind of gave the script another once over, we could have sorted out some of those details. And maybe this was a movie where there should have been 2 killers. You know what I mean? It should have been the deputy and the ex-boyfriend and Mitch. And Mitch goes down first as a patsy or something. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, that's how there were 2 dudes that could break a neck and decapitate somebody at the same time. Because it was 2 bigger dudes that could have done that kind of thing. And then with the knife in the ring thing, so she cuts herself free. They're all around the table. It's the scene where they're all at the cannibal dinner there that was kind of gross and kind of sketchy. It was nasty.
Yeah.
So Jess cuts herself free, passes the ring over to Scuba, the remaining dude in the group that didn't have his brain bashed in. He cuts himself free, gets the drop on John Carver while he's unarmed, basically, because I think he put the knife down. He was on the phone at that point.
Yeah.
And as he has him pushed from behind down, face first into the wall, he doesn't obliterate this asshole. Like, this dude looked like he was 6'2", 180, 190.
Defensive tackle, big guy.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Dude, exactly. He didn't lay the ass kicking of a lifetime on this piece of shit. Come on, dude. You just watched your boy get his brains beat in, flip the safety off, and go to work. You know, so there was shit like that when he came up, and I was like, I hate that shit. That happens in Scream. It happened in Scream when we just did Scream, where the athletic boyfriend and the one half of the Power Twins in that movie, like, he gets the drop on everyone of Ghostface in that movie like 10 times and doesn't obliterate them. Why?
Yeah.
Like, why not, dude? You're 6'5", you're athletic, you know you're quick. Go to work, son. Go to work.
It goes back to like the old James Bond where they have the slow laser coming.
Right. We're gonna leave you now, Mr. Bond.
Yeah.
Oh.
And this slowly dipping device.
Right, no.
Why don't you get a gun?
I'll go in there right now.
Pop them 2 times. We'll be done with this.
Dude, seriously, that's the shit that drives me. That's why I don't like most horror movies. Like, as I get older and more jaded, because it's shit like that. Like in horror movies, I enjoy. Like I always reference Sinister. There was never an opportunity where Ethan Hawke had the ability to defeat what was going on around him that involved shooting something, stabbing something, or throwing fists. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? It was out of his control. He was caught in it the minute he got involved.
Yep.
You know, in this, they all had opportunities to lay an ass kicking down and just didn't execute, you know?
And I love how he did. Okay, so in wrestling, when you get hit with a move, you're supposed to sell, meaning that you might get hurt. He completely no-selled that stuff into the face, the hairspray into the face in the high school.
Oh, yeah.
He completely sprays him in the face with hairspray. Right. If you've ever had that anywhere near your eyes, you know you're not seeing for a little bit. And he has a perfect hat swing right after.
Yeah. And dude, why did she pick up the hairspray and not the scissors? Like, bitch, pick up the scissors. This is your chance. Pick them up. Like, you were right there. Yeah. They both hit the floor. Pick up the scissors. The shit like that kills me. It's like the end of, and then I think the only other thing I didn't have down is like a like. So they set up kind of sorta the I've only ever handled a gun once. It was a musket when I was a kid at one of the parades, and it almost killed me.
It blew out
my
ear out.
Right. And then at the end, she's in the pickup truck with the prop gun that we saw the gun kid leave there. She knows how to load the black powder and put the shot in. She's out of shot, so she uses mom's bracelet. I groaned a little bit at that because mom's bracelet almost killed her 10 minutes prior when she was making her fucking escape, and it got stuck on the fence.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? How is that a thing? That shouldn't be a thing. That should not have been a thing. But they used that, obviously, to tie into the villain reveal as she's starting to figure out it was Dempsey because he had the pricker bush thistle things on his shoes from the chase in the woods. He's leaving the office. He's about to close the door, and she's like, oh. And she says what she says, and then he's like, oh, yeah, I wish that you had been caught there 10 seconds more. We wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah.
But so she takes the shot with the musket, and instead of shooting him, she shoots the helium-inflated turkey behind him to create the fireball, right?
She was not
Fire and Rescue comes through,
near close enough to set that thing off.
Just saying. Fire and Rescue comes through, and in typical 80s slasher fashion, we searched the whole premises. We couldn't find a body. And, of course, she's then eyeballing one of the firefighters coming out in the full respirator gear. They don't say anything, but it slows the frame down.
Yeah.
This dude's walking a little bit in slow motion. The audio changes a little bit, and you're like, okay. But then the very end is the last stupid jump scare shit that I generally don't like because I think it's cheesy. She wakes up, thinks she hears a sound in the closet, investigates. The boyfriend wakes up and is like, oh, is everything okay, babe? She goes, oh, I'm fine. And then, of course, from inside the closet, flaming McDreamy.
Yeah.
That didn't sound right. Flaming Patrick Dent. Nope, that didn't sound right. That guy is on fire, grabs her and pulls her in, and then she wakes up from that and blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to use flaming at all. I was trying to get out of that.
And with the whole flaming part is exactly where my review goes with this, is a flaming pile of crap.
Wow, dude, okay, dude. Then listen. Let's get out of here, right? Rate this on a 5 scale for you. Now, remember, you've seen crap horror before. This is not your first dance.
Yeah.
This is not your first rodeo. Is it that bad?
So
comparatively,
comparatively to the crap that's put out normally these days, it's about par for the course. It has like the dialogue is cheap and lazy. The plot is pretty much taken out of any textbook. You needed an editor, and there wasn't one because you needed to catch all these plot holes you had. I mean, there was more plot holes than there's potholes in New York City. And
Woo!
I'm just
Too easy of a joke.
too easy. Had to set it up.
Low hanging fruit, bro. Low hanging fruit.
So yeah, this is a 2.
A 2. Wow. This may be a winner Wolf's Den first. We have our discussions and our back and forth, but I think we almost always come out on the same side of most things. Dude, I'm giving this an easy 4, dude. I had a blast with this. I love watching these white trash motherfuckers absolutely eat it for what they did at the beginning of the movie, especially the ones that had the direct impact in all the bad shit that happened. Yulia dying, I wasn't with that. I'm like, no, she was borderline innocent victim. She's crawling away screaming for her dad. I like that killed. I don't like that kind of stuff. Oh, and when the parade incident happened and like the driver gets impaled through the back of the skull by the piece of wood and the fucking grandkids are like, Grampy, wake up. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking awful. But it was an Eli Roth thing, and maybe that's not your speed. Like, do you like Cabin Fever and Hostel, or are you not? Are you out on those as torture porn kind of gross?
I
body
enjoyed
horror
Hostel. I thought it was a fresh take in the horror genre when it came out.
Yeah,
but it was serious. It was written to be serious. This
it was
one
brutal.
Yeah, it was actually kind of scary. If you've ever been to Europe and been to that type of situation, you can definitely see that type of stuff going to happen. And
sure.
with just with things going on, these kind of things happen. Like the whole kill club that they had in Hostel.
Yeah.
Those
just
things kind of go on.
General kind of
thing.
Human
trafficking. Sure. Usually it's a set shot, but I'm pretty sure they've been killing them too. So yeah, that was actually.
They don't put them on the pension plan, so yeah.
But it wasn't like cheesy deaths either. Like those were like real deaths that could have happened in Hostel. The first one, yeah. This one was completely cheesy, and it tried to take itself too seriously from what it was, and that's why I was just like,
interesting.
This is horrible.
I had a feeling that's where you were going with the text last night. We were just like, oh my Lord. I didn't think it was a good oh my Lord. I'm like, nah, he's probably not digging it. I think for me, it walked right up to the schlock line, and I knew it was going to be that because of Cabin Fever. And there was going to be just enough of that weird Eli Roth shit that I'm on board with, that I would take some enjoyment out of watching it, just given the concept. Because the concept you have to know going in is gimmick cheesy schlock. It's a John Carver mask in a pilgrim contest in Plymouth, Mass at Thanksgiving.
I think could have been an awesome killer. He could have been up there with Candyman. I think him and Candyman could have been on.
C tier?
Yeah, the C tier.
C tier?
No, D tier is like the fisherman.
The fisherman, okay. All right,
Yeah.
so we know you got it out for the fisherman. We already know this. You leave the fisherman alone. He's just a guy trying to do his job. He lost his hand. Those kids are dicks.
Yeah.
Dude, the fisherman was right.
But he's on.
Fisherman's like Thanos.
Like, I mean, you have your top tier, which is like Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers.
Go check our video. We lay this all out there.
You have your B tier, which I mean, Ghostface can go up and down based on the movie. A tier, B tier.
Yeah.
And then C tier, you have your Candyman, you have your Chucky, and especially the TV series ruined Chucky, so that's why he's falling all the way.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, he could have been in there because it was gimmicky enough where it could have been scary.
Oof. Scathing review from King Z with the 2 out of 5. I'm sticking with my 4, dude.
All right.
It was worth the $15, dude.
This is why we do it.
That's why we have the chat.
I mean, it's probably
interesting
nice.
Interesting diversion on this one.
Yeah, it's probably nice for the fans to see that we don't always agree on everything, but we did still sit here and talk about it. Isn't that nice?
Yep. Isn't that nice indeed? Dude, any parting words? I think we covered it all, dude.
No, I think that does it for me. I really want to thank everyone who started watching this video and watched our review. If you liked what we said, go ahead and give that thumbs up so it helps us in the algorithm so other people hear what we said. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss new content. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time we drop new content. With that said, Winter Wolf, take us home.
All right, guys, we appreciate you stopping by. If you're stateside, have a safe and happy Thanksgiving later this week. And for everybody else, thank you. And we will see you in the next one. Later, guys.